Hello, welcome to the third session of the JIRA reports. Today we will try to discuss as much of Burndown, Burnup, and the sprint reports. When and where we could be using Burndown versus Burnup. We have few real-time simulated reports. None of the reports or the information we are showcasing today is a real-time project data. It is all mock-up data just to discuss for this. So don't worry, no client confidentiality, none of the confidential information is being disclosed. Everything is mock-up data, the reports, the JIRA tickets, issues, the project itself, everything. Okay. And we will try to cover as much possible. Sprint report, if possible, we will complete it today. If not, maybe in the next week or some other session, we will take it up. Okay, let's get started. Before getting started, when or how we can make use of Burndown chart as a Scrum Master?
I think for teams and individuals progress for the commitment what we have shared.
Okay. What else?
So
check the growth of a sprint.
Check the growth of the sprint. Wow, excellent. Okay.
Or else where we are in the current situation, will we be able to complete the next activities within the stipulated time already? It's kind of, forecasting our performance or the task. Where are we and what is the other part we need to complete? Are we able to do that? If it is not, what is our any effort or else something else like that to identify the time gap or something?
Excellent. Okay.
Any scope creeps are happening in the sprint, or else any tickets are removed from the sprint, which is impacting.
This is an interesting point. Can we figure out that using the Burndown chart?
So we will be able to identify if we see any scope creep, right? We can see that in the Burndown as well, right? So that we can.
Burndown.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me quickly share the one of the Burndown chart and we'll continue the discussion from there.
Okay.
Okay. Yes. You're able to see the chart, JIRA chart?
Yes. We can.
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is for sprint one. Okay. This is a cloud version of JIRA. So I'm using a free version, cloud version, just for the information. Okay. This is the one of the completed sprint somewhere in September last year. Okay, just for the discussion purpose. Okay, now this is the Burndown chart for one of the project, for one of the sprint. We are referring story points. So by using this graph, can we figure out the scope creep or scope change happen?
Right now, I don't see any scope creep happened in this current sprint. Maybe.
Okay. Okay. How about others?
There was a delay in a few starting days.
Yes. Yes. So September 20 till September 22nd, 2 days. Nothing. I mean, team might have done. We can't simply say that no progress. Team might have not completed any of the user stories. We are using story points. So when we say story points, when the line or when the graph will get reflected, only when a user story move to the final state, whatever is the final state, only then there is a change in the Burndown chart. Right. So 2 days to some extent, yeah, maybe the team completed some stories on third day, September 20, 21st, 22nd, third day. That's why the line went down. And then 4th day, 5th day. And why the line stopped here? Any idea?
There are some user stories, maybe that is not being done. That's what the story points
still pending.
Yes, the stories which are planned, 15 story points got planned or committed by the team. during the sprint planning, once the sprint started, by the end of the sprint, this is a 1 week sprint just for a simulation. So towards end of the sprint, we still have some stories or some issues not completed or not met the done state. That's the reason the line stop here itself.
Can
And
we
this
say
is
that,
again a, yes.
sorry, is there a possibility that the team has completed the story, but they have not updated the user story, JIRA point,
Yeah.
Story point?
Yes.
That could be
Even
another
that could
reason.
be a, yes, even that could be a possibility. So that is where our role as a Scrum Master will come, right? So, of course, not like a teacher student, like reminding the students to complete their homework or assignments or tasks. No, but like as a mentor, as a coach, as a guide, we need to help the team remind to make sure the progress is reflected on time or on a regular basis in the tool, because this is auto-generated. Again, just to reiterate, this is the auto-generated. We haven't did any manipulation or any creation or anything. As soon as the team starts updating the user stories, progress or status, the graph starts reflecting immediately. That's why we might have to remind the team to make sure the status of the progress is reflected in the tool. Okay, let's quickly go through a little bit, scroll down a little bit, and just below the graph, there is a tabular format where we can see the user stories, their story points, and the remaining scope, everything. And all the actions or activities happened within that sprint, we will be able to take a tabular reference and you can open the issue and take a look at it, what happened, why anything happened or anything. And here, as you can see, one of the story, if I'm not wrong, yeah, SQP 30 is not completed within the sprint. That's the reason the line or the graph is still showing as in the midway, haven't met the final state. Okay, and this is a straightforward sprint. As RK mentioned, there is no scope change. There is no scope deviation or scope creep. Yes, it's a pretty straightforward sprint. The teams planned 6 user stories or 6 issues or tickets, whatever it is. And they started doing the updates. I mean, completing the stories is the important thing, right? So along with that, they started updating the progress in the tool and the graph got generated and the sprint completed. With towards end of the sprint, one of the story is not in the final shape. That's the reason it is showing as remaining as 3 story pointers. Are you good till now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Let's take a look at another sprint. Wow. What is this graph? This is my favorite graph.
Sudden spike, I can say.
What is this red line going up and down?
After starting the sprint, user stories have been added later.
Yes. Or another possibility is there. There is one valid point. Once the sprint got started, the stories might have got added.
And
Plus,
second,
there is another possibility. Yes.
yeah, after completion of all the story points, they've added a few more. That is in between October 4th to 5th.
October 4th to 5th. Yes. Yes. So I'm still asking about the first initial spike. One possibility is once the sprint started, the stories got added.
They have completed the story points.
No, the stories might have got added, but the story point estimates might have added once the sprint started.
In
Right,
other
so-
words, can we
Mhm.
say that estimation has been first of all we gave 3 story point, then we have in the middle of the sprint we thought it is not 3, it's make it 5, from 5 to 8, from 8 to again back to 5, something like that. Changes in-
That's a different conversation,
Okay.
different scenario session. So what
I
I'm
thought-
trying to say is like, see,
Okay.
what happened? We can take a look at the event details in the table. The sprint started, then the scope changed, issue added to sprint, removed from sprint, added to sprint, added to sprint, issue completed. And what happened here? The sprint started with one issue, but that issue is not having an estimate. Yes, maybe it might be a task or it might be a story with no estimates. Chances are there. So two scenarios might happen. The team might have started the sprint with some stories or some issues in that, but no estimates. Once the sprint might have got started, that's when they might have added the estimates. That is one possibility. The second possibility is adding the stories or the issues itself once the sprint started. Yes, this is what happened here. The sprint started and then the team started adding the stories or issues to the sprint. That's the reason it is showing like this. And this is showing the scope removal as well. Not only just the addition, the scope removal as well, scope change. Event type is scope change, but the event detail, if you look at it, we will get to know what is it happened. Issue added, issue removed, or issue removed. Yes. Any of it could be the reason the line went up and down. And where is the gray line, the ideal line?
From
Which we
27th
typically-
to 3rd October.
From 27th to 3rd October,
Third week,
it is
yeah.
it is at 0. Why at 0?
I mean, none of
Only
the
one ticket
user
they have
story has completed.
Only one ticket they have completed, but there is no story points. The rest of the tickets are like scope creep happened, changes made to the scope.
Exactly. Right. If we quickly go back to sprint 1, just for a couple of moments, why the gray line, the ideal line, or the guideline as per JIRA tool, why the gray line started from 15 till 0 here in sprint 1, but in sprint 2, the gray line is not even there. It is a flat line at 0 itself. Why? The reason is the moment when the sprint is started, there is no story point estimates. So the burn down chart still considers only that whatever is the commitment given by the team during the sprint starting. So the ideal guideline will not change or will not reflect or represent the scope change happened during the sprint. The gray line, that's the reason it is still at 0 itself. And why it stopped at October 3rd? Why it is not there from October 4th to 10th?
Not
Any
all,
thoughts?
no associates are properly loaded with the work. Only one ticket might be there and it might be completed so and so.
Okay. Any other thoughts?
As per the ideal stubs, it has to be ended by October 3rd at the initially they have declared.
Exactly. The sprint end date during this, when we started the sprint end date is given as October 3rd, but the sprint ended on October 10th. So that's the reason the ideal line is stopped at October 3rd itself. Right. So burn down chart is, so what does it mean? The burn down chart is considering the scope plus the sprint end date, what is defined during the sprint start. That's it. What are the changes we do? it won't consider, it won't reflect, it won't represent in the burn down chart. If you ask me, those are the limitations or restrictions, or that is how the burn down chart itself is defined or designed by the tool. Are you good? The burn down chart, the discussion till now?
Yeah, Satish, one question.
Mhm.
So let's say, okay, I have started my sprint with some, let's say 10 story point on 26th of September, okay?
Okay.
And as per the date, let's say I supposed to close my sprint on October 3rd,
Yes.
okay? 10 story point, I have started my sprint on September 26th and October 3rd is the last date for the sprint.
Mhm.
Okay, but because of some XYZ reason, I'm not able to close the sprint on October 3rd, and let's say, okay, I'm completing on October 10th.
Mhm.
So in that case, how that burn down chart will look like?
The ideal line will be starting at 10 points and will be coming till October 3rd. The
Okay.
end date or the ending line will be coming at October 3rd. That's it.
Okay, so that will be the ideal line, right? Starting from 10th
Yes.
story point and end on October 3rd, right?
Yes. And the ending will be at October 3rd. The ideal line. Ideal line.
Ideal line, that's fine. Okay, but since I'm closing on October 10th, the graph will show the whatever, plus minus or ups and down things till October 10th, right?
Yes. So the red line is the actual. The actual will show whenever we completed the sprint. Only then, until then, it will be active. But the ideal line will be closing or will be showcasing that as closure on October 3rd.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see if we have another sprint like that. Your context, we will see if we can see that within another sprint. Folks, are you good till now?
Also, one query is arising right now here. Maybe after September 27, if there some of the stories they have taken, but later point of time they have identified that user stories has some more tasks or work has to be added. So that's what the story point might be got increased something.
If that is the case, we will see that as an event type or event detail, the scope change. Right now, there is nothing as such for the current sprint.
Okay.
Got it, Ranjan? So if any such thing happened, right, the way how the scope change, we will see in the another sprint. There are a couple of scenarios, if I'm not wrong. We try to simulate that as well. I will showcase in another sprint where if in case there is any scope increase, the estimate change, like the same what Sashank was mentioning earlier, right? So if there is any change from like 3 points to 5 points or 2 point to 3 point or anything for the existing stories itself, the planned stories, that also will reflect as an event in the table, which will give us a clear picture of what happened during that sprint or for that specific user story.
Okay.
Okay. Yes. Let me quickly bring up sprint 3. Oh, this is a line or graph which I like it. It is like a perfect burn down chart. Is it perfect?
I guess no.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
I guess the story, I think all the requirements has not been done within the sprint. Is it the one? Because I'm analyzing in a different way. Could be.
Okay.
Is it correct? I'm asking. I mean, like, is it?
Yeah, the red line is not meeting the end. So yes, towards end, maybe some or 1 or 2 issues might have not completed. Yes, that is one thing. but otherwise, how the graph is looking like.
It means like, what do I say? So on day one only, we are almost 16 points has been completed. Is that the mean?
Day one, 5 story points got completed. Like October 10th, the sprint started 11th, then 5 story points got completed.
Okay.
Yes, and by 12th, 2 story points got completed. And again, by 12th itself, another 3 story points got completed. Yes, again, this is another point. How do we know which story got completed when? So by just placing the cursor here, we will get to know which story point, and the date and time as well. Everything will be reflecting in the graph. Right. So yes, and at the same time, before scrolling down again, any other pointers, any other thoughts?
Yeah, on the day one, 5 story points were done, but for the next 2 days, from 10 till 12, only 2.5 story points are burned.
Yes, here 2 story points and 3 story points, both on 12th itself. So
yeah, 5 points.
5 points got done. And again, by 13th, 3 pointer and 1 story or 1 issue. It is added with a delta of 0 points. So there is another thing.
Hello.
Yes, Anand.
1 point.
Yes, Siddharth.
Okay, continue. Yeah, someone is continuing. Yeah.
So the ideal line should be, actual line should be that every day the number of story point burned should be equal every day. Is that the correct understanding?
Not equal every day.
Okay.
It should, my thought process is simple. Continuously, regularly, on every day, the team should be able to do some progress.
Okay.
Yeah.
It should not be a steep curve or steep line just towards end of the sprint. No, that's not how it should be. Whether it is 1 story pointer, 5 story pointer, that is fine. But the progress should be happening constantly, continuously throughout the sprint. That's the only thing I personally look.
Thank you.
Anand?
Yeah, thank you. As per me, actually, this is the honest Burndown chart what I can see. So the team is burning whenever they are completing. So it is not like they are faking or anything. But obviously, there are 1 or 2 items might spill over. So that's what it is showing. So it's not in our control. So I think this is good Burndown chart.
Good Burndown chart. Thank you.
So Satish, like, can you click on this show non-working days once?
Show non-working days. Yes. So October 16th and 17th, or 15th and 16th is the weekend. So that's why that no progress.
So the graph should not move on that day. Okay. So ideals and both have the same.
See, the dates October 14th and then 17th, because 15th and 16th is the weekend.
I think one more thing is, I think in the initial days itself, those holidays might not have taken care. So that's why it got spilled over. Might be our risk not be raised whenever it was intended to be. So I think those are 2 things I can guess. So during capacity planning, we are not taking care of the holidays. That also might be.
Fair enough. Yes, that also could be one of the reason. Okay. Now, any other pointers? Are you good till now? Yes, Bharat?
Yeah, actually, I want to add 1 point. I just, it's my thought. The story is getting completed before the timing. It means ideal graph is showing something else, and the actual is showing something else. So that
Yes.
the story is completed before the ideal timing. It means that the story is estimation is overestimated or something else.
Could be, or another point. What my different thought perspective is, the day one itself, the team completed one of the 5-story pointer. We don't have any magicians in the team, right? So this SKP 20 might be a spilled over story from the one of the previous sprint, and maybe some leftover work is there. That could be one of the reason
Right.
why a 5-story pointer got completed within a 1 day
Right.
or within the first day of the sprint.
True.
I mean, chances are there. Yeah, that's the reason the actual is below the ideal line.
Right. So my observation about the last stage of the graph, completed before that the ideal time.
Yes.
What is the reason for that? What is the reason for that? That is my question.
What is the reason? Yes. This is the thing we might be bringing up in the retrospective and see, team, do we need to refine the way we do the estimates, or do we need to take additional story points, additional scope within the upcoming sprint? How do you want to take it further? Plus, at the same time, what could be the reason for this one story, or maybe a couple of issues which were still not completed, or which were still in progress towards the end of the sprint?
Because that previous sprint 1 has been added in sprint 2. That's the reason it has been at the end of sprint 2, we have not completed the story. Is it the reason?
Could be, yes. That could be the reason.
And might be
Interesting,
scope
right?
change. Scope change might have happened.
Might be scope change, yes, could be. Now let's take a look at the yes. So the table as well is showcasing the perfect information. Let me quickly jump into what do you say, the burn up chart. Till now we referred the burn down chart. Now, when and where we use or we refer the burn up chart, we have all the information, all the analysis, all the details within the burn down chart itself. Then why or when and where or how the burn up chart could be useful or relevant from the reference purpose.
This is ideal, which is already being completed. Whether we are able to completed those many user story on that particular date wise. That's what Burnup chart.
Okay. This is the same team, sprint 1. Let me bring up the burn down chart for reference. Okay, this is the burn down chart. The same team, same sprint. This is the burn up chart. So why another chart is there when all the information, details, analysis, pointers can be assessed using the burn down chart itself?
To understand how many user points are pending to complete.
Okay, we can get to know that using the burn down chart as well. SKP 30 is the pending. So why burn up?
We are as per the scope of what we committed. So
Hmm.
that we can have with burn up chart. In burn down chart, we are going to burn that. This is the actual thing we are doing it. But in the burn up, what we can show is okay. This 10 days, I think 10 days iteration. So this is the scope. So these many story points. So that will give whether we are as per the scope or not. I think that is the reason we are using burn up chart, and it shows that how much it's completed.
Okay. Okay. So let's take a look at the tabular format or the reference of the thing. So the sprint one, it is a no changes in the scope. It is a sprint started. Here we are seeing the story name as well, the completed work and the work scope. Okay. Let me quickly bring up the sprint 2. We'll get some difference or reference. Yes. Now this is the sprint 2 burn up chart. And the legend, the red line here is the work scope. The green line is the completed work and the gray line is the guideline. What is that we are analyzing, or we are getting an idea by looking at this burn up chart?
Here within 27 to 27 within a single day, as per that should be the has to be completed, but on 27 itself they have completed story point till 16, so that is way beyond the expectation of the team.
Satish, as per me, I think see red line shows we have to be like that, but green is showing that we are not doing as per red line, means we are doing less work for initial days. But when the days go, I think we are doing more work as per my understanding.
Okay. Okay.
It seems expectation was too high from the red line, but still the team could manage to perform looking at the ideal line, because it is going above the ideal line. But still my one query over here is that, like, how is it decided, like red line, how the red line is decided that on the September 27th we have to complete this many story points? How is it decided?
Red line is not decided. Red line is a scope present in the current sprint.
Okay, the total is 16 story points, which is expected, right?
Yes.
Out of which we have completed almost 6 on September 29th, and then gradually we are improving, achieving more and more, and then but still it is on a higher end. Okay.
Yes.
Understood.
Yes. So let me quickly bring up the table. So the sprint started with one story with no estimate. I mean, I don't call it a story, the one issue with no estimates. Then we started adding the issues to the sprint. The work scope is increasing, right? So that's the reason initially it is 0, but by 27, the sprint scope was increased to 16. That's the reason the red line, initially the scope is at 0. It went up till 16 because of the scope addition or scope changes or the estimate changes, whatever might have happened. But in the current context, the new stories got added, which is a scope change in the sprint. That's the reason the work scope initially it is 0, but it went up till this line, 16 story points on September 27th. Then what happened to this red line? I mean, the gray line here. Here, the gray line is again different. It is not the initial scope. Initial scope, if we, let me quickly bring the burn down chart for the sprint. Which sprint it is? Sprint 2. Yeah. Let me bring up the burn down chart for the sprint 2. What happened here, right? So, yes, here as well, we could see the scope change or the remaining scope, but the ideal line is 0. Ideal line is blank. Even though the scope change happened, once the sprint started, the ideal line is flat, blank, nothing. And it is showcasing only till October 3rd because there is a planned sprint end date. But what's happening in the burn up chart? The same sprint for the same team, the scope, everything is showing until end of the sprint. The scope changes, adjustments, whatever happened, everything is reflecting clearly in the burn-up chart. And even the guideline of the gray line is also showing until end of the completion of the sprint, not the planned completion, the actual completion of the sprint.
So can you repeat this again?
Sure. The burn down chart is ideal line is showing blank or 0 because during the starting of the sprint, there is no scope. Nothing is there when the sprint started. And the planned completion or the planned end date of the sprint is October 3rd. When we started the sprint, that's the reason the guideline or the ideal line is showing only till October 3rd, that too at the 0 mark in the burn down chart. But for the same team, for the same sprint, the burn up chart reflecting the current situation, current scope, current timelines. And the ideal guideline is showing till the completion, the actual completion of the sprint. The guideline is not stopping on October 3rd. It is reflecting, it is updating itself automatically till the actual completion of the sprint. Plus, the scope change as well happened and everything is reflecting clearly in the burn-up chart.
Okay.
And why the ideal gray line is stopped here? Why it not went till 16? Because there is some scope change happened towards end of the sprint. We completed only 11 story pointers. We, in the sense, the team. There is one story which is of 5 story pointer got removed, because of which the total completion of the sprint is 11. That's the reason the guideline was shown only till 11. Right. Before completion of the sprint, one issue of 5 story points got moved out of the sprint. That's the reason everything is adding up or pointing up till here at this line of 11.
So basically, in a burn-up chart, we can see the ideal line as per the scope added, whether there was one story in the beginning or not. It shows the complete scope.
Exactly. Everything is like clearly visible. The burn up chart when compared to burn down chart.
One question, Satish, but this scope, the red line, this was also almost same in the burnout chart also, because when the scope was added, it went up, right?
Yes.
Similarly, here also it went up. So there is no difference in that. Can I say that?
Sort of, yes. So this red line here in the burn down chart is more or less similar to that of this green line here, not the red line, green line. the scope, the actual completion is similar to that of a green line here in this Burnup chart. Remaining scope is not showing clearly in the burn down chart, whereas it is clearly showcasing the guideline, the overall scope, plus the scope changes, scope adjustments, everything is clearly visible, reflected in the burn up chart. Right, so we could see three different things in the burn up chart. One is the gray line is a guideline, and the main difference between burn down and burn up is in the burn up chart, the guideline gets adjusted or reflected the revised scope any point of time. It is the guideline in the burn up chart is not considering the initial scope. It is considering the current actual scope of the sprint till the actual completion of the sprint. These are the two main pointers. Plus the scope change and the completed work, everything is reflected in three different lines in the burn up chart. Are you good? Yes. Is it confusing or clarifying or helping?
It is
burn down versus burn up.
No, it is good.
It is good. Okay, thank you. Let's see another sprint.
For me, this is quite complex.
Quite complex, but it is bringing up the true transparency, right? From the sprint perspective, if we consider everything, including the story details, is also reflecting, it is showcasing everything. That is what I consider. Okay. Yes, so this is a sprint 3. The ideal line which we considered here. Yes, so this is the ideal sprint which we discussed in detail. The same ideal sprint which we assumed or which we considered for the sprint 3. This is what happened. There is a scope change happened in the middle of a sprint, which was not reflected or not considered in the burn down chart.
But when the scope is added, this red line should go up ideally in the burn up also, right?
Yes, yes. Let's see what's the difference. Yes, sprint 3. Yes. So let's see what's the difference. Again, this is also sprint 3. Yes. Okay. Okay. So where is the difference? Here, added to sprint SQP 25. So where is SQP 25? Okay. 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 My bad. My bad. This is a different typical. What do you say? The change, what happened? That's the reason it is coming up. I know the reason. I played around this thing. That's the reason. Don't worry. I created this as a story with a 2-story pointer. I converted it into a task. I want to play around. That's the reason that is showing as a scope change in the burn up, but not in the burn down. If not clear, don't worry about it. I changed the story into a task. The initial story has a 2-story pointer. When we converted that story into task, the 2-story pointer is still considering or still reflecting in the burn up chart. but it is not considered in the Burnout chart. So this is not a scope change, but it is reflecting in the Burnup chart. That's the reason it is showing us the change in the scope, but it is not. So there is a limitation of the tool. We need to consider that as a perspective.
So those two story points that you added, later you converted into a task. So,
Yes.
right. So does that mean that Burndown consider only uh, story? I mean, at the user story level, scope at the
Yes.
story level, and
Yes.
Burnup
Yes.
chart consider. Um,
No, even
the
Burnup is
base-
considering it, but there is a limitation from the tool side. It is, even though it is a task got converted, the story got converted into a task, it is still, the Burnup is still fetching the story pointers of this task and adding it up. That's the reason it is showcasing that. That's the difference. I played it around with this story. That's why it is showing it as nothing to worry about it.
something interesting.
Yes, yes, I want to play around. This is how I play around the free version. You will get to know all the issues or everything. Right, see, I updated the story points as 2 on at 1:17 p.m. Once I added story points, then I changed the issue type as story to task. So as per this, the task is not having a story point as a field. That's the reason it is nowhere showing up here in any of the fields. But in the back end, the 2 story pointer is still there, which is getting considered. Okay, so don't worry. That's a one-off situation which I played around with the tool. That's why it is coming down.
One query here.
Yes.
Is it possible to allow, or is it a good practice if a team member changes the original estimate, or you can say original estimated hours for a particular story in between, sorry, a task in between the sprint?
Okay, what could be the reason or logic why you want to change the?
Or maybe let's say he has initially estimated that I'll take maybe 16 hours for this particular task. But
Okay.
now I feel that after 2 days, I feel that I will need one more day. In
Okay.
that case, is it allowed for him to update that original estimate, or how is it going to be in the team?
The name of the field itself is saying original estimate.
So, but it's original estimate, but so it should never be changed, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Right. See, the estimate, that is an estimate. That's it. It is not the, it is not what do you say, considered as a deadline. No, no. There could be various reasons. Yes, there could be various reasons why the team member, even I myself might have felt many times, I could have completed this in 1 day or 2 days. I might have added as a 16 hours as a original time estimate. But once I started working, I realized I could have added, or I might need some more effort from my side to complete it. Let it reflect in the time logging, the actual time spent, not in the original estimate.
Got it. But now if let's say I want to see that which particular developer is overshooting, or you can say crossing the always crossing his estimation, like original estimation. Or I just want to make sure that any particular team member is not always following the same thing, like underestimating basically a particular thing. So is there any way I can find it out from JIRA?
There should be a way. If not, we can try to create a JQL, and we can try to fetch the difference between the original and the actual time estimates. I need to play around the tool for that information. Just reach out to me because right now I have all the stories or the issues I have is with only the story points. Not many are having with the time estimates. So I need to create some simulations like this, and then I can try to share it with you.
Sure, I will get in touch with you. Thank you.
Sure, sure. Yeah. I haven't got your name. Your name is showing as
Zarkhana.
ZP. Okay, sure. Just reach out to me. We can figure out a way.
Sure.
Yeah. Sashank, you're adding something?
No. It's open. No, it's not.
Okay.
So Satish,
Okay.
Can I ask some question related to the same?
Sure. Sure, Amal.
Okay. So let's say, okay, one XYZ story, okay, original estimate for that XYZ story is 10 hours. Initially, we estimated the story with 10 hours of original estimate. While working, I got to know, like, I might require some more hours. So let's say 5 more hours are required. So what is the good practice? Can I change the original estimate from 10 to 15, or while logging the efforts, I might need to log 15 hours as per the 15 or 12, whatever it is, okay, whatever extra hours I have taken to complete that particular task or story. So what is the good practice? The first one where I can change the original estimate and match the original estimate after logging the time, or we'll keep the original estimate as it is and we can log the extra hours because since I'm taking some extra efforts to complete that particular task.
Just now we discussed the same thing, Amal. So ideally, the original estimate is not supposed to be changed. Let it be whatever it is, whether it is 1 hour, 10 hours, or 20 hours, or 40 hours, whatever it is, let the original estimate be as is. Log the difference in the actual time log. That's it. Right. So if we keep on changing the original estimates, what might happen is like team will start coming back saying that, okay, Amol and Satish are letting me change any point of time. So during the backlog refinement or whenever they are creating the tasks or whenever they are doing the original estimates, they'll be okay. Anyways, I can change it anytime. I will give some random numbers. It will become a habit to the team.
Yeah, right.
Right,
so why I'm asking the question is like, see in the Burndown chart, Satish, we can have that Burndown chart with original estimate as well instead of story.
Yes. Yes.
I think there these things will get reflected, right?
Exactly. But again, if we change the original estimate, the Burndown chart won't consider that. You need to remember that, right? The original estimate, whatever is there during the sprint starting or before the sprint start, only that will reflect in the original estimate of Burndown chart. Even if you change in the middle, it won't show in the Burndown chart. Right? The same way how the actual story points, I mean, when we sense to the story point. Okay, I got your point. So the guideline might not change, but the actual might change. That's what your point, right?
Correct.
Yeah, but ideally not recommended, not suggested to change, whether it is a story pointer, whether it is a time estimates. It is not recommended, not suggested or allowed to change. Again, it is up to the team, but once we allow to change for one task or for one issue, that will become a habit to the team. Knowingly, unknowingly, every now and then, team will start coming back and saying, hey, I forgot, I misstood this, or I feel this is to be changed from 10 to 20. Let me do the change. Or the team, they themselves might take liberty to do the changes, which will become a regular practice to the team. That should not be the case.
Correct, Satish.
That is fine. That is none of us are perfect, right? So the estimates, again, the name itself says it's an estimate. So let's try to analyze and figure out where the team might have missed or not considered the pointers for that specific sprint. What are the issues, the reason for that difference in the estimate, and let's try to consider that for the estimates for the next sprint, upcoming sprints. That's it. Okay.
Yes, got it.
Okay. Guys, are you good? The burn down, burn up, the discussion.
In
Yes, yes.
ideal scenario, only the Scrum Master is HA admin. He will change the dates according to the dates and the story point, or the developers and the team members, they are being authorized to change their as per the timeline.
Um, the story points and the estimates, yes, the team also will have the access to change it, but the sprint dates, majority of the cases, only the Scrum Masters will have the access, provided the access restrictions are kept. If
Okay.
not, anyone can go and do the changes to the sprint.
Yes, that's true.
It's always good to follow the burn-up chart rather than burn-down chart because it gives more transparency to all the stakeholders. Is that correct?
Sort of. Yes, to some extent. We can refer both, but let me quickly go to let me bring up one of the sprint. Okay, yeah. So if in case we are using the cloud version, we have right now I'm in an active sprint. Right? So in the active sprint, in the cloud version, we have insights. I'm not sure how many of you have got a chance to take a look at it, but if in case you are using cloud version of JIRA, you can take a look at it. So within the active sprint, there is an option, new option called as insights. Click on insights. It will showcase the burn down chart as well within the current active sprint. And as you can see, the scope changes is also reflecting within the burn down chart. So this is the changes Atlassian team is doing it. It is still in the beta version. So the current burn down chart, which we looked or referred till now, it is actual coming under the reports. But this sprint burn down is within the insights of the active sprint. It is still in the beta version where the Atlassian team is working on bringing up the scope changes reflecting in the burn down chart itself. So it might take some time, but it maybe we don't know the timeline, but the Atlassian team is working on it. As soon as they roll out, it will be rolled out to all of us. And once it is done, the same information might be reflected in the actual burn down under the report section as well. So whenever you're doing a daily stand-up using a JIRA Cloud, you can quickly take a look at within the active sprint. You can refer the burn down chart here itself. No need to even navigate to any other screen. Everything can be visualized using the active sprint screen itself in the JIRA Cloud. This functionality is not there in the JIRA server or data center, but this was brought into the JIRA Cloud. So Siddharth, to answer your question, within the insights, we have the option to take a look at the burn down chart. But the burn up, if we want to look at it, we might have to open as a separate, and definitely we can access or we can refer it any point of time, both the reports, sprint down, burn down and burn up charts.
Sure, thank you.
Okay. And the sprint progress, everything is reflected here itself, the epic level progress. We will discuss it in another session. The issues for attention, everything is coming up within this active sprint screen itself. Okay, yes. Are you good with the burn down and burn up chart?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let's take a look at the sprint report. When do we use the sprint report, or why we might be using the sprint report? We have Burndown, Burnup. Then what's the need of sprint report again? Another report. Why? Atlassian as a
We can
tool
refer
might have
after
built up.
completion of the sprint,
Mhm.
just to check, like, how many stories are completed, how many are spillovers, and that kind of thing will get some sprint.
That is
Okay.
available in Burndown chart as well, right?
That is available in Burndown itself. Why we need a separate report?
No, even I have a doubt, so just I'm asking, don't mind. This
Yeah,
may be useful for retrospective.
Okay, retrospective, yes.
And according to me, according to my thought, you have clear picture. For example, there are many reports in the report section. So one of the report is the velocity, right? Velocity, where it will give you a trend, a thought process for retrospect or introspect. How as a team member or as an entire team is behaving or working together towards a common goal, sprint goal, right? So it will give you historical data along with the action what you have done. And when we are communicating, when you're saying about the burn-up chat, it's giving instant what his team is doing from last 24 hours, or and how the team is progressing and but these reports is first of all it will give you a glance how the things are happening from the past and current, and also let's say stakeholder won't or a management won't understand these burn down and burn up reports, so they require what is the progression is going on overall feature wise and report wise, or what is the business value we are getting. Just it will be a summarized report, it will show up, right?
Yes,
so,
yes.
as part of growth, you can think from that perspective.
So thanks Session, for adding it. So the graph might be looking similar for the sprint report, but the status report, the tabular format is the difference in the burn down, burn up versus the sprint report. So this is a sprint report for sprint 1, the information which we looked just now. So here, if you can see, the different tabular format is coming up. Completed issues, the issue link, the issue type, priority, status, the story points, everything is coming up in a detailed format. The issue is not completed. Yes, here it is differentiating clearly with the what's the progress and everything within the sprint report. So if in case as a Scrum Master, we have to share any report to the stakeholders or anyone, we can easily use this status report, and the sprint report, and we can share this to the outside stakeholders. Sorry, what happened? Okay. Using this sprint report. Let me quickly go to sprint 2. We will see, yes, the completed issues removed from the sprint, and the progress, the status, when that specific issue was removed from the sprint. Okay, and here we can see a star next to majority of the issues except 15. What does that star mean? The issue added to the sprint after start time means once the sprint started, if there is any changes, any addition, any removal of anything, there is a star. So as we can remember, for the sprint 2, only SQP 15 is there. When we started the sprint, all the other issues were added to the sprint at a later point of time. And SKP 20 was added and removed as well within the sprint. That's what it is showing as issue removed from sprint. And a star is added because it is showing after the starting of the sprint. Are you good? The sprint report.
Satish sir, can you click on the 3 dots on the top of that?
3 dots.
On the share icon on the top of that.
Share icon.
Yes. Right. No. On top of that.
Okay. Yes.
So no. I think somewhere you can download that image, PDF, and link also. I
Yes,
think that is
in the in the share. In the share.
Copy link, and you can share the image and PDF that I know. When you use
Yes.
unless until you have the access for the.
Yeah, right now it is a free version, so I don't have all this thing. But yes, so if in case you have to share this information with anyone, we can copy the link and include it to your email, or we can change, we can export it as a PDF or as
PDF
an
and all.
image, and we can share it across.
Actually, generally, for people do ask how you are going to share report, and we have very strict environment, unable to take screenshot and all. Though this is one of the way where you can play around. And of course, when you are working with organization, we can have the entire access. So we not to, do something, and it is easily shareable and can share the report to management.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
And yeah, let me bring up sprint 3. And okay, none of the sprints are having different reports. Let me quickly. Okay. Okay. So 4 different tables will be reflected in the sprint report. Let me quickly list it down. One is completed issues. One is issues not completed. One is issues removed from sprint. Sorry, not 4, 3. Completed issues, where all the completed issues will be reflected. These are done. So the 11 story points are done from this sprint. Of course, we have a task with no estimates, the bug with a no estimate. That's why it is showing as done as 11 story points. 5 story points are not completed. And this sprint is not having any issues which are removed from sprint. That's why that information is not showing up here. But the other sprint 2, we have that. So whatever sprint we have any issues removed from the sprint, that will be showcasing here. So this is what the information which is reflected in the sprint report. The completed issues in one table, issues not completed in one table, issues removed from sprint in another table. Along with the summary, the issue type, the priority, status, the story points, everything in a clear, detailed information. And if you need any further details, don't click directly, right click and okay, it's not coming up. No, okay, right click is not working, I guess. We can see in the issue navigator this. If you want, who is the assignee, when is a created update, it is the typical issue or the JQL format. You will get to know additional information about these issues. Okay. So just by clicking on it, we will get to know only that issues get filtered out and will be reflecting in that. Okay, now right click came up. Let me showcase that information once again. So by default, the JQL got created automatically and it got filtered only these 4 issues. Why only these 4? These are the done within that respective sprint. That's the reason only that specific issues got filtered and reflecting in this. We can take a look at the additional information of that specific issues. And from here, yes, you can export or you can share or you can export as a Word document, as a XML or as a other information, and you can showcase that. You can even create a dashboard gadget for this using this filter. Are you good with the sprint report?
In
Yes, sir.
in a sprint, Satish, if in case out of the total story points, whatever being there for a particular user story, suppose one developer is telling that he has already done the unit testing, but might be the QA part is being required for that particular user story. So in that case, like we are not considering that particular user story has been completed. But if we have taken, say, suppose 5 story point for a particular user story, shall we count some 2 or 3 story point for that particular user story, because a development part is already being completed and rest some other activity only being left it out. So
This is the most common question we get in many forums, many discussions. What's the benefit the team will be getting by considering that?
Because next sprint, if we are moving also that particular user story, we don't have to again recalculate for the particular development issues and all.
Okay.
Because that is already being done by the developer. Only tester has to do the testing part of that particular user story. So should in that particular sprint, because development activity is already being completed, out of that 5 user story for the particular total story, sell some 2 point or 3 points should be considered, as because some of the activities has already been done for that one.
Yeah, my question is like, how is it going to benefit the team by considering that? Got my point, Ranjan?
Yeah, got it. That particular, say suppose if they will consider out of 5 points, they will consider 2 or 3 points also being completed by taking into the development efforts. Then it will add value that they have the average velocity of that particular sprint will 2 or 3 points bit added to that particular.
I think, Satish, your question is basically how much it will be helpful. So I would say no, nothing helpful, because by completing of those part will not help anything. We will get any product or anything out of that.
Yes, exactly. Thanks, JIRA. Thanks for adding it. So, Ranjan, coming back to your question, right? So let's suppose I'm the stakeholder, I'm the client or customer of this specific team. The moment I'm looking at this sprint report, so let's suppose this SQP 20, this story is in progress. It is a 5-story pointer. So your point is like the team completed the unit test coding, unit testing, only the QA part is left. So let's consider 3 story points for that SQP 20 and consider it as a showcase it in the velocity. Then it might be the story points might be coming as 14 points, right? Because we considered 3 years done. I'm the customer, I'm the stakeholder. I will be asking Ranjan, do the demo of all the 14 story points completed by the team.
No.
Then?
Okay.
Right? See, from the team perspective, yes, it is fair ask from the team perspective. Hey, I spent a lot of time and effort and work. I broke my head and everything. Spent my weekends, late nights to target to complete that story. It is for various reasons, it is not completed. At least consider that maybe 70–80% of that story pointers. It's a fair ask from the team perspective. I totally understand. I totally agree. Even I myself argued with my scrum master, my coach, multiple times when I am working as a team member. But we need to consider the business perspective. The moment we showcase some story points as a done, the product owner might come and ask, okay, so your team completed 14 story points. Let's do the deployment to production, or let's integrate the code so that we can deploy the code to the production. Do you have the ready code or done code? No. Then isn't it a false showcase of the velocity or the completion percentage?
Yes, that's true.
it is just to satisfy the team. In the way, I totally agree that you spent your time and effort. Let's consider that. But what's the use? End result we are trying to give to the customer or to the stakeholders or to the business to that point.
Yes, got it, sir.
The team will not get benefit on that sprint, but definitely they will get benefit on the next sprint.
Team might not get benefit in that sprint, but if not sprint
Next
2,
sprint will be
sprint
helpful,
3 might be completed. That's where they will get that benefit. And that is the reason we consider average velocity of last 3 to 5 sprints. Right? We are not considering only one sprint as a velocity. The typical velocity is like the latest 3 to 5 sprints, or either 3 or 4 or 5. As a team, we need to agree. And if we are considering that, if not in sprint 1, even if they complete in sprint 2, yes, it is still considered. And only when it is done, we are considering it with the maintaining the transparency or showcasing the true working or valuable software.
So Satish, I have one question here.
Yes, Aman.
So let's say, okay, one of my story was complex in the, let's say while starting this, like when I added the story in the sprint, okay, maybe in the beginning of the sprint. Okay, based on the complexity and whatever understanding I have estimated the story with some, let's say 5 story point, right? Or maybe 8 story point, whatever it is. Okay, but after starting on working on the story, okay, and because of some XYZ reason, I was not able to complete the story for in that particular sprint. But since I have spent some efforts on the story, okay, that complexity got reduced now, okay, because I have unblocked few things for the particular story. Okay, so can I close that particular story in a sprint, or maybe I can create some other maybe the clone story or some relevant story for the next sprint? Can I close the story in the current sprint, and the pending part can I create the new story with whatever work is remaining and some less story point, because I already have completed some part of that particular story. So
yes, this is another example which might happen in many cases, many teams or many sprints as well, right? So during the starting of the sprint or during the backlog refinement, we might have considered only few scenarios or use cases or the acceptance criteria. But once the sprint started, once the team started working on, either from the team side or from the product owner side or the architect side, they might be bringing up new scope, or they might be coming up with the additional pointers or additional scope, or the team, they themselves might have felt for the defined scope itself, the team might have felt we might have to consider additional estimates or additional scope pointers for that. In such cases, yes, let's close the current story with the changes or whatever the scope we completed, and create a separate user story with the different estimates, and with the, maybe it might be done in the same sprint or maybe in the different sprint. Let the product owner define the priority in the scope, the timelines. Let the team take it up. And make sure this is all documented or listed in the user story, the current user story, that what of the scope change happened, or what's the logic or reason for creating a separate or a different user story for this new scope. Does it answer your question, Amol?
Yeah, Satish.
Okay. Okay, yes. That's about the sprint report. And let's see if I have any other thing. No, the majority of the sprints, we have only 2 tables or 2 things. Looks like I don't have a sprint with all the 3 in the same. Let me try to check in other project. looks like we have only. This is the example where we have all three completed, issues not completed, and issues removed from sprint. And again, we need to understand the difference between these two, issues not completed versus issues removed from sprint. When a issue will be coming under this issues removed from sprint versus when the issue will come under issue not completed.
In case of scope changes for the particular user story, it will be coming as issues removed from sprint, because that particular user story, some changes or something is happening and that is no more required for the particular sprint. So it will be marked as issues removed from sprint. And issues not completed because of the any reason, if not we are able to complete a particular user story, then we can mark it as issues not completed.
Yes, that's a valid explanation of the logic. However, again, teams are playing smart here. They know by the time they close to the end of the sprint, they know maybe the story SQW8, for example, it is still in the to-do state. They have not started even working on that. It might not be a scope change, but they initially committed during the sprint plan, but they haven't got a chance to start working. So before completion of the sprint, the team is removing the story from the sprint or moving the story out of the sprint, showcasing that as a scope change or not required for the current sprint. Right? Because SQW is 19 is in progress, that's why they left it within the sprint, and towards the closure, it was spilled over. But this SQW8 might be still required for the sprint, but the reason team might have not started working, they might have moved it even before the closure of the sprint. I mean, chances are there. So we need to clearly figure out a reason, the logic why the story was moved or removed from the sprint. Because we as a Scrum Master might be getting a question on all these things by anyone, any point of time. So make a note of why the story is not completed, why the story why the issue is not completed versus why the issue is removed from the sprint, and who approved or who agreed, or when, on which date it is, in which discussion it is agreed that so-and-so issue can be removed from the sprint. Make a note for your own reference and keep it handy, because we never know when you might get pulled into which discussion and they might be asking you a question. Satish, why for this sprint the SQW8 was removed from the sprint? Who approved it? If I as a Scrum Master doesn't have that information handy, I may have to go back, take a look at the history, or check with the product owner of the team, and I need to bring that. We might not have that much of time in the discussions like that. Got my point?
Yeah, Satish. Hi, this is Balreddy. Yeah, it can be in a situation like there might be a dependency on the if story point 19 gets completed, then only we can work on story point 8. So the reason can be happen like that.
Yes. I mean, it might be a valid reason as well. But when this sprint happened, let's take December 20 to 27th. Now we are in the month of May. If my stakeholder is pulling me into a sudden meeting all of a sudden and asking me, Satish, explain me why SQW8 got removed from sprint. How will I remember? I'm the Scrum Master who did the change. How will I remember which something happened in the month of December?
You're right.
Right? So keep a note, maybe a simple tabular format, or however, a Confluence page, or where you can track all these sprint on sprint. That way, like it will help you as a Scrum Master.
Yes, Satish, in the comment section of we can mention, right? We are removing this story because of this XYZ reason.
Yes, we can. What if like 10 stories were removed? For example, you want to open each and every story in the comment section and take a look at it.
Okay, right.
Right. So it is only one story now, but what if like 10 stories got removed for maybe some common reason? The dependency. Let's suppose this is a capture mobile number for new account registration. Then another story is like generate OTP for the mobile number, then validate OTP for mobile number, all mobile related stories, for example, right? So all the 5 or 10 stories might got removed for one common reason. So make a note of that and tag all the 10 stories under that comment, stating that because of the dependency with the mobile number team or mobile number authentication, SQL 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 removed from string. Simple. Right? There is a additional documentation or additional reference for us, which will help us as a Scrum Master.
Yeah, got it.
Right. So it will help us as a Scrum Master. So let me try to bring up an Excel. I don't have a Confluence page. I tried to create, or I might have created, I forgot. Let me try to bring in Excel if I have it handy. In the meantime, any questions or anything from the burn down, burn up, or anything which we discussed today?
Yeah, I'm good, Satish.
Okay.
What which report would be the ideally suggested to just go through with the burn up or burn down? Which would be the best to go?
Burn down can be used, ideal in general, but whenever we know as a Scrum Master, whenever you know the scope changes are happening, and if you want to highlight, showcase it, use the burn up along with burn down. Just don't base only on the one of the chart. You can use both.
So basically, for day-to-day use, maybe we can focus more on burn down. Is that
Yes.
right, Satish?
Yes. We can go to the burn down, but the moment we know where there is a scope change happening, and if you want to clearly showcase, highlight it, use the burn up chart.
Thanks.
Okay.
So for burn down, Satish, mostly it is recommended to have the story point, right, in y-axis. Even though we have some other options as well.
Ideally recommended is the story points. The reason we can use any other thing as well. The story estimates, I mean the original estimate and everything. But the point is, let me try to bring up that Excel.
No, why I'm asking, Satish, so let's say, okay, any story, okay, that is having some story point. Mostly the big stories, right? And having some multiple tasks. So team are working on those stories, okay, and even though also they are, completing those subtasks as well. But at the end, if those stories are not closed, right, nothing will reflect in the burn down.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in that
this is
scenario,
one of this is one example where I tried to create. See the original estimates versus actual. Right. So the planned original estimate is 111 hours. The actual towards end of the sprint is 128 hours. Yes, possibilities. Chances are there. The team might have spent additional time. Only the green highlighted tasks or subtasks are completed by end of the sprint. right? So we have these many stories, the story 9, 987, 657, 190, and these are the story point estimates. So the team spent beyond their planned original estimate, but what's outcome? Not even one single story is completed. Got it, Amar? So by referring original time estimate versus actual, yes, the team spent more time, but there is no outcome. Not even one single story is completed. Every story has some or other thing pending. If we are referring the story points, the red line or will be still the flat, not completed even one story. But when we are referring the original estimate, it will be coming down. Trying to showcase that the tasks are getting done. Yes, the tasks are getting done. But what about the stories? Stories are not getting done. So everyone is saying, I'm done with my task, I'm done with my task. What's the outcome?
Yeah, this is in Excel. Is there any report like which we get it? These details?
Not exactly, because all the stories I have only the story points, not with the tasks. I mean the estimates. So I have to create. I have to update or generate like this.
So this my question is, see, like maybe stories, stories are not moving, but subtask team is working on those subtasks, right?
Yes.
So
yes, the subtasks are completing
some story, but at the end on Burndown chart, we will not see any update, right? Or any progress. So in that case, how we can prove that we are working, we are on it, or maybe we are on track. But on Burndown chart, if nothing is moving, then like how we can justify that statement?
That's what we need to ask the team. How, as a team, they are planning or they're targeting to complete it.
Okay.
See, the burn down, if you are referring the time estimate, it will be generating. Let me quickly try to see.
Yeah, maybe I'm not referring that, Satish. So let's say we are only considering that story point only. Okay, as per our discussion, and even client is also want that that Burndown should focus on the story points.
Okay.
But practically we are working, but story points are not moving, right? Or we are not burning those story points because we already have n number of tasks and team is working on those tasks.
Yes.
Right. So how we can justify like team is working even though story points are not burning, and that is not reflecting in the Burndown chart, but we are on it or we are on track for a proper closure?
No, that's what we need to ask the team to explain or give up the reasons why or how they targeting to complete. That's what we need to discuss. Team, this is the sprint goal which we define. How are we progressing to complete, to achieve the sprint goal? Are we on track? What support, what help you need to achieve the sprint goal? That is what we need to discuss in the daily stand-up.
Yeah, right? Yeah, so that is kind of a verbal communication. But let's say if you want to share some report with client, right, for that particular week, or for some days where these things are there, right? Stories are not moving. Sorry, story points are not moving. Yes. So can I show the blank or maybe the flat Burndown chart in the report?
Exactly. Yes, that's what we need to show. That's the transparency we are bringing up. See, what if like we are talking about a 2-week sprint? What if like we have first week of the sprint, we try to showcase that the team is making progress using the original estimate, for example. Right? We are showcasing towards end of the first week of the 2-week sprint, showcasing that team had completed these many tasks and this is the progress the team did. But by the end of the second week, still none of the stories are completed. Obviously, the client will come and ask, come and question us, hey, where is the progress? show the demo.
Correct.
You mentioned these many tasks are completed. I want a demo. We don't have any of the story completed. What do we do the demo? Right. So try to maintain the transparency from day one of the sprint to the possible action. That way, no need to struggle, no need to worry towards end of the sprint. And it won't be we shouldn't give a surprise to the client the moment they join the demo, saying that, hey, we don't have anything to showcase the demo. We completed 100 tasks out of 120 tasks, which are planned, but we don't have anything to showcase in the demo. That's it. That's the moment we get all the blasting from the client.
Okay, Satish.
Right? Our role, our focus is to help the team plus product owner plus the client stakeholders in all the possible ways. Not to help only one of them, right? We need to act as a connecting point for all these three roles or three stakeholders for us. Yes, Ranjan, you're saying something?
Yeah, but some point of time, like in a organization also, like where there might be a pressure or something also being there, also team likely to show up their average velocity in such a way that say last consecutive three average velocity of that particular sprints and all bit high something. So if some sprint something they have somehow done correct, but other sprint next sprint they have overestimated something and not able to or down estimated something or not able to complete, but still they wanted to show a average velocity to the particular management and all. That point of time also, like team likely to slightly modify and they keep on trying to match that particular velocity to show up to the upper management. So that also might causing going to problem for particular team and all.
Yes, yes. See, my single question to the team or whoever is asking me to showcase that average velocity in that way, my single point or single question is, what's the benefit you get by showcasing this velocity or by showcasing the information in this way? For that moment, for that sprint, the team might be getting the benefit or the team might be escaped or got saved from what are the things. But some or other time, it will get blasted like anything, right? Indirectly, that is what the technical debt we are building up unknowingly. Right? So we need to try to help the team to the possible action. The team might be saying, Ranjan, no, you're not understanding our concern. We need to say the same. Team, you're not understanding my concern. I'm not trying to pressure you or I'm not trying to punish you. I'm trying to safeguard you from day one. Don't bluff just for the namesake, just for the timing to get safeguarded. No, it's not going to help any of us. No, right?
Even the team or everyone works on only on the commitment of the team member. So accordingly, that would, the Scrum Master or anybody would be just asking them accordingly on their commitment.
Exactly. Yes. Are you good?
Yeah, one question. How frequently, what is the ideal way, how frequently we need to share with this report with the team or with the stakeholders?
Team, to be frank, they will have access.
Considering like 2 weeks or 4 week sprint. Yeah, considering 4 week sprint, how frequently it is an ideal way to share with team and stakeholders? Yeah.
Sprint report only towards end of the sprint. That's what once the closure of the sprint. But the burn down and burn up, the team will have access every day. anytime they can go, even the team can go and take a look at it. So same with the stakeholders as well. They can go and take a look at it. My stakeholders never used to reach out to me. They used to look at the burn down or burn up, and that's when they used to ask me, Satish, why this story is going like this, or why the graph is coming like this. They themselves used to directly take a look at it. No need for me to share that, because they also have the access to the tool. They also have the access to the graphs or the reports.
Okay.
No need for us. We are not generating anything manually. We are not manipulating or not manually doing anything.
Yeah,
the graph will be automatically generated, and everyone, it is open. The stakeholders also can take a look at it, provided they have access to the JIRA. They know how to navigate, how to access it. Yes, they can take a look at it any point of time.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks. Thank you, sir.
And that's the reason we need to remind the team, what are the progress you're doing? Reflect it in the tool.
Yeah. Okay, got it.
I know the first manifesto statement talks about individuals and interactions over process and tools, but end of the day, we might be following the tools or process for whatever reasons. Are you good?
Yes, yes. Thank you. Yes.
Okay. Yes. Any last minute questions before we wrap up?
So Satish, like, okay, last one from my side. So
sure.
In ideal cases, okay, like let's say if you're working with new team or maybe with in a new project, right? How much duration we can say, a new team that might require, to get up with all these processes and, to understand all these things. So if I want to commit something in front of my client, okay, like since the team is new or maybe the project is new, we might need some XYZ time, right? So what is the time period that you think we should, at least give some time for the team, that much time is required for the team?
No straightforward answer to that question, Amol. It is like how soon my kid might get start walking or crawling. Each kid is different. The same is the case with teams. Right? So there is no straightforward answer for that question. We might not be able to say that straightforward, because some teams, it all based upon the team as well. Right? So again, the team is all made up of individuals, grown-up individuals. So how they collaborate, how they coordinate among themselves. A lot of logistics comes into context. So typical observation is like 3 to 4 months is what at least the team starts getting stabilized. If it is a brand new team starting from scratch, that's what majority of the cases my personal observation is. But some teams might get stabilized within 3 to 4 sprints itself. It all varies again.
Yeah, so maybe considering some buffer, can we say that minimum, 6 to 8 sprint that new team might take, right? To come up with all these things and considering some buffer time, right?
Yes, yes. But again, that might have to, you might have to refine or revise it as the team goes. We can't simply stick to that.
Yeah, right. Definitely, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good, Satish. Thanks for.
Okay. Yes. Thanks, everyone. Hope
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you all.
Bye, everyone.
This will be shared.